count you down. You give me, I get too excited for shit like that.
And we are live. Hi, my name is Tyrese Simon.
I'm Elijah Jones.
This is MMA Renegade, episode 11. Elijah.
Episode 11. Whoop, whoop.
Elijah, it's been a long time. How are you doing, sir?
I think it had to be more than 3 weeks at this point, right?
Yeah, man.
It had to be more things. I am good. I am in the end of finals week. It is the end of another semester. I 2 more tests and I'm done. How are you?
I'm tired.
Could this be that we were up to like 2 last night?
That could be part of it. Also, doing this show, preparing for this show, I had to take a lot of notes, so I did not get any sleep last night. But I'm on 2 cups of coffee. I'm right awake.
Couldn't do it, but I applaud you. That's some tight stuff there, my man. Tight stuff.
I do it for the culture, man.
All right.
But, Elijah, UFC 245 is in the books. This is the last pay-per-view of the year.
Last pay-per-view of 2019.
Before we go through any of the fights, let me get your impression. What are your thoughts on the fight card overall as a whole?
I truly think this fight card was stacked in the way that it needed to be stacked. I think we had great matchups. We had some very good contenders who were able to make names for themselves. We had change of title. We have some champions who defended. I think this was the fight card we needed. Not the best card of the year, but this is the fight card we need. This is the show we kind of needed to end the year, because it wasn't as if every single thing was like amazing on this card. But I think the championship fights, that's what spoke most about this card, because you had 3, and UFC doesn't do this. They don't do the 3 championship fights on a card too often. Yeah, it's usually limited to 1 card, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So when you have 3 championship fights on a card, you kind of want that card to be good, but you're giving 3 people the chance to defend and prove why they're the champion, but then you're giving 3 people the reason as to why they deserve to be champion. So I think 245 in the books last night was a good card. It's a great card. Not the best card of the year, but overall, I definitely give it a B+. I gave it a B+. It was a solid performance by all the people who fought. We got a lot of different angles going here now that we can, for the next 2020. We have some interesting angles we can explore. I mean, that's just my take, but how do you feel?
Well, first of all, I felt that we shouldn't have a lot of these 3 title fights on the card. There's a reason why we don't see a lot of them. The pacing of it was a little bit hard to deal with, to be quite candid with you. Usually a fight card finishes about 1:00. This fight card we didn't get through till maybe about 1:00.
And it's because the 3 championship fights, that's 5 minutes each. That's really kind of why this fight that's kind of really why we're all tired. Like it's 3 25-minute fights. And then on top of the 3-minute fights that are already there was 5 cards on the main card, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's 3 3-minute round fights, right?
Yeah.
So that's 3 15-minute fights.
Yep.
And then you have another. It was 3. It said 3, right?
Yes.
It was 3. It was Peter Yan versus Uriah Faber, Aldo versus Marias, and who was the next person?
No, that was it.
It was 2 3-minute 3-round fights, and then the next 3 were 5-round fights. So it makes sense as to why it went as long as it did, if I'm being honest with you. But again, good night.
I just don't want to see this. This shouldn't be a recurring thing. I thought it was good for what it was. I think the pacing. I think maybe could have took out a couple of those fights. I don't think you really need to have. You could have took out maybe Chase Hooper. But even though that was a good prospect fight, but why that was there to showcase a new fighter. I just think those fights probably could have taken off.
What's interesting about this is that you had brought this up during the fight, that because they had ended so early before 10:00, they had to show one of the prelim fights.
Yeah.
I do think there was room in there for one more fight, if I'm being honest with you. There really was room in there for one more fight. But they could have simply moved someone from the pre-prelims up into the prelims. So I think if moving forward in terms of time and the placement, like, they could do a little bit better, because I don't know. 2:00 was a little late, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, and
2:00 was a little late.
And like I said, we came over to your house and you treated us well for a fight party. And ESPN had little issues as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. I sent an email today. ESPN did me dirty. I would love to hear feedback on what happened, but we definitely had a little bit of streaming issues here and there, and a couple other things. And when we saw the fight, it was crystal clear, but there was buffering and interruptions here, so a lot going on. Very very far from our usual because when we watch the fights, it's usually hardly ever a problem.
Yeah.
So if there's some technical difficulties, ESPN Plus, please hit me up. I definitely would love to talk about that.
I don't think they will, but
Oh, definitely not.
worth
They,
trying.
they probably they're gonna look at this video and be like, yeah, who the fuck is this guy?
But did you watch it? But did
did
you
you
watch it?
did I watch it? I don't know. If I can get my money back, no. But no, I enjoyed last night's card. I thought the matchups were really good. They were really good
No, it was
tests
good.
for all the fighters. I think overall what they sought to do was to go. It was a good end of the year.
Yes.
It wasn't UFC. It wasn't the UFC when we went to Madison Square Garden. We
No.
know that. It
I think
just
that was
wasn't
it.
that, and it wasn't the UFC where Kelvin Gastelum was it 243?
I
Am
think
I
so.
bugging?
Yeah.
Is that the number? 243,
Yeah.
where Kelvin Gastelum fought Israel Adesanya in Atlanta. So it's they were good fights. I'm happy with the results.
Hmm.
Maybe not one of them, but we'll talk about that further in the show.
Okay. Yeah, I can't say that none of the fights were bad. I thought all the fights were good.
No,
I just,
competitive.
yeah, I think maybe just me. I think the three title fights, it should never be a recurring thing. This should be a special occurrence.
I think it should be once a year.
That's
Once a
fair.
year.
That's
Just
fair.
once
That's
a
fair.
year.
That's fair.
Anything more than that, then I know for a fact there's 2 nights out of 365 days where I'll be going to sleep at 2:30 or 3 o'clock.
100%. 100%. All right, Elijah. Before we go any further, for the people that's watching this in the future, please subscribe.
Subscribe.
Click that bell. You always get a notification when we go live as well. And also comment in the live chat. Tell us what you think of the show.
Yeah, couldn't hurt.
All right, live. Let's start from the main event. Kamaru Usman beats Colby Covington by TKO in the fifth round, 4 minutes and 10 seconds left in the round, or into the round. What did you feel about this fight?
Well, first and foremost, the lead up to this fight.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about it. I've listened to Chet. I know you were trying to stay away from the media's influence, and that's understandable. Being a journalist as yourself, you kind of want to be unbiased when you approach a fight and you're looking at such an event as this.
Right.
I think the biggest thing for the Kamaru and Colby fight was these guys match up so well. They have almost the same reach, or the 2 inch was it 2 inch reach or a 3 inch reach goes to Usman. They have
Yep.
a very similar record. They started wrestling around the same time. They're the same age. I mean, it didn't get more similar
Yeah.
than these two fighting. Like it did. This is again like this had to be the MMA god saying this has to happen. This has aligned. The stars have aligned. Let's do it. That's what I got from this. The fight itself. I wanna say two things before I get let Tyrese talk. Colby Covington's got hands.
Agreed.
I knew this guy was good. I was on a cruise, and me and my brother were trying to figure out whether or not he was going to beat Robbie Lawler. We were like, "Ooh, Robbie's no, he's known to put he's put you out. Like
Yeah.
that's just Robbie. Robbie, his name is Ruthless. But when we got off, I remember getting back to Florida, and the first thing we did, we went to the airport and we tried to watch the highlights of the fight, and Colby was able to dominate Robbie Lawler, which I didn't see happening. And then to this fight, to last night. I mean, his boxing and the southpaw stance was him. That was him. Jab, jab, cross, uppercut, jab. I mean, was just putting it together. I was very impressed by Covington. And from what I saw at the end of the fight, apparently he had broke his jaw.
Yeah.
He broke his jaw. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Overall, and then the second thing for me, that was the first thing. I got to get Colby his props. And then Kamaru. I mean, I picked Kamaru, even though I was very worried about Colby. I picked Kamaru. I was very worried about Colby beating him. But the one thing I remembered about Kamaru is that the power and the conditioning that he has in round one, he can keep that to round 5. He's never when he goes the distance with people, he's usually wrestling them and big brothering them and like picking them up, slamming down. And that's because he has to kind of do that. But he didn't have to use the wrestling, which I think gave him the extra boost, to go the later rounds. In my opinion, I just phenomenal performance by Kamaru, honestly.
No, yeah, that when we talked about this fight off air, we talked about who was going to win this fight and how. And one of the things we talked about was they both have great wrestling, so it's going to cancel each other out.
Has to cancel each other out.
My thought process going to this fight was Colby Covington's striking was going to be better. His overall striking ability was going to be better. And he could probably use that in order to go for a grappling, go for attempt to take that, or go in the clinch and try to wear Kamaru Usman down. That didn't happen for either fighter.
No.
This was a straight up kickboxing fight in the UFC octagon.
I'll be honest with you, this wasn't a backyard brawl.
Yeah.
This was like an underground fight. This was truly, it was like blow for blow. Colby would hit a jab, Kamaru hit a jab. Colby would hit a 3-piece combo, Kamaru would hit a 2-piece. Kamaru would throw a kick to the body, Colby tried to throw the kick to the head. I mean, these guys were going at from round one.
Yeah.
I remember we said this, and after round one, we was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a fight.
Oh no, yeah, 100%.
After round one, I don't know.
It surprised me. I don't know if this was the game plan for either fighter, whether it was to maybe start off striking and then try to work their way to grappling, trying to look for a takedown. But both fighters pretty much stood in the pocket. There was really no game between.
In the middle, I think I would like to say at some points Colby pushed forward, Kamaru, slid out, circled around, got to the middle. But this fight predominantly never left the middle. This fight. I don't think there were very key moments where maybe he got hurt, but you roll with the hit and you kind of circle out. You know what I mean? It was you had a lot of those moments. You maybe had someone get hit, like Colby. He got caught off balance a few times, and he would just be stick his tongue out, get back to the middle. Kamaru would get hit with a couple pieces and circle out. You had those moments, but the general consensus was we're doing this here in the middle. That was the consensus of the fight.
And so, as I watched the fight, we're watching it live. I'm sitting here thinking, Kamaru has some scary power. And he has scary power. However, I thought Colby Covington was getting the better exchanges from round 1 and 2. I thought he was winning the better. He got the better of Kamaru. Kamaru landed the more impactful shots, no doubt about it. But I think Colby Covington overall striking was a lot better than Kamaru's.
Well, this is always the issue, right? Because you have a guy like Colby who can throw that volume, and I don't want to say Colby can't knock a person out because he's just he's a 170. He's probably a strong guy, He's a strong guy. Let's just get that.
He stumbled he
stumbled a few times.
Yeah.
But the issue was the volume versus the power.
Yeah.
And I mean, when this is why I was most impressed with Covington last night is because he threw his volume. He threw, and it wasn't just I'm just throwing random strikes. He threw coordinated strikes in combos.
Yeah.
It wasn't as if he was just all right, I'm a jab, try to take you down. It wasn't I'm just gonna throw something, see how you react. It was, I'm gonna throw this, I'm gonna throw this, I'm gonna throw this. You can't defend this, so I'm gonna throw it off when you there was very good coordination when it came to his technique, and I thought I was impressed from his boxing alone. His boxing alone was very good. And then he would mix in a couple head kicks. What was interesting though is that with Colby, you usually see him go to the body on a lot of his guys, right? He didn't go to the body as often with Kamaru. And with Kamaru likes to dig to the body. And we saw Kamaru go to the body, but we saw these teep kicks from Kamaru, which is usually interesting because we usually see teep kicks from Colby. Remember the Rafael dos Anjos fight? He backed him up with teep kicks, got him against the cage and big brothered him,
Yeah.
And he did the same thing with Robbie Lawler. He hit him with a teep kick when he could. So it was very interesting because the guys, the only difference in their style is the volume and the fact that Colby only stands southpaw, while Kamaru during this fight was able to switch between southpaw and orthodox. Other than that, that's the two differences that I see. Other than that, everything's the same.
Yeah, before going into the real deep stats with this fight, I really did like Colby Covington's his uppercuts in close distance, his hoop uppercuts, the overhand that he was throwing, the jab. A lot of that was landing, and it did stun.
It stunned Kamaru. I think Kamaru in his post fight said he even said he gave praise to Colby. He's like, this guy, he hit him with some good stuff.
Right.
He hit him with some good. It's interesting because Kamaru has a long reach. You would think that would be, into play, and it did. But Colby was able to hit him with some very interesting shots, like overhands and uppercuts
Yeah.
off the center line. It was very interesting. It was very interesting to see Colby's hands fly like that because I didn't expect it. Like I
No,
knew he
not
was
at all.
good, but I expected at some point from this to be a wrestling match. At
Yes.
some point,
Yes.
this would be like hands, fine, then wrestling. But Colby, I mean, honestly, with you, after what I saw last night, there's not too many people in welterweight that I think can truly beat Colby.
Interesting. Interesting. You
That's
know what?
what
I can't be mad at that, honestly, because
I
I
can't.
thought the same thing.
I think, and we'll get into we'll go round. I guess we can go round and round because I know
Yeah.
you're going to go into deeper stats per
Yeah.
round. But overall, I think the growth in Colby's game is significant. Like it's from here to here. But the
Yeah.
issue with Kamaru is because we have not seen him fight for a long time, and he's
Right.
been off. And most of his fights, he does the same thing. We just don't know. He has unlimited amount of potential at this point. We just don't know what's going to happen with him. So we assume that he hasn't grown. But this guy, I just don't think this guy's. This is one of the showcases of where he's like fully shown an arsenal of what he can do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
now we start to get this resume of him. Like, oh wow, he did that. Like this guy really put the hands on Colby.
Yeah, and I thought Kamaru Usman showed poise. He didn't seem like he was even when he got rocked, he still kept his composure the whole entire time. The body
Colby hit him.
shots I thought were brilliant in the fight. He
Brilliant.
mixed up body shots with going digging to the body, but also throwing the teeth, like you said. I thought Kamaru did a great job, and he was able to hold that power going to the later rounds.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he was just flinging it. He was actually accurate with his shots as well, picking his shots.
True. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But let's go to round by round, right? So round one, Kamaru's total strikes was 34 of 91. Colby was 39 of 111. Kamaru had 37% significant strikes. Colby had 35. Round two, Kamaru had 40 of 79. Colby had 41 of 97. So it was a very close fight going into the second round. I personally had Colby maybe up those two rounds. I had him round one and round two.
The issue with round two was that you saw Kamaru start to stance switch.
Yeah.
And that I thought that presented a problem because Colby at that point when they both were in a southpaw fighting stance. That's when you saw Colby like, oh, okay, all right. Like I'm used to tapping him when he's orthodox. Like let's see if I can tap him, boom, boom, and then he would get tapped.
Yeah.
Like that was the biggest thing. He'd be like trying to throw those combos. They were missing a little bit. Some landed. Like he had a good percentage of those that missed and those that didn't. Those that missed and those that didn't land. But it was very interesting because once he stance switched, Kamaru was able to throw power with his left too, and that was another scary issue. So it's not that he's able to fight only orthodox; he's able to fight southpaw
as well. Yeah,
and that's why I was like, wow, there's levels to this because now he has I don't think it's the same power in both hands, but he's got power in both hands.
But even though Colby had landed the more strike, he had the more volume in the fight in the round 1 and 2. Kamaru still had the most significant strikes. He still had the most damage from his punches.
I believe when you saw that round start, you saw Colby's. I think it was his right eye. Like you saw that, like the eye itself was no longer white. The sclera, it was red.
Yeah.
At that point, it was red. Half his face was red. So it was, and in Kamaru, it's hard to tell with him. He's a darker skinned man, but like you saw the wear and tear on his face. But compared to Colby, it wasn't much.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Colby probably, and the argument made that Kamaru won round 2, but I thought Colby had round 1 and round 2 just off the strikes that he landed. Maybe not the more significant strikes, but it definitely landed more cleaner on Kamaru. Round 3, in which we talked about when we watched it, round 3 was a difference maker to me. I thought Colby Covington was taking that round off because of the high pace he did in round 1 and round 2. He was taking round 3 off. It showed. Kamaru landed 29 of 50. Colby landed 8 of 51.
Yeah, I think that was a point you made during the fight. You said it looks like it's not that he's slowing down, but it looks like he's getting a little bit more strategic in what he's throwing. And I agree. Yeah. I think a pace like that, I don't think he stopped. I don't think he was tired, but he had to digest what was going on. Because again, I scored round 2 for Kamaru. I thought Kamaru came out slightly better in round two
That's
with the
fair.
stance switch, and and I thought that Colby had to process that. I think that's what that third round was for Colby. It was a processing moment where it was like, okay, he's gonna hit me, but he's not gonna keep going between stances. So I need to understand when he's gonna go, what he's gonna do when he goes, and why he goes back to between orthodox and southpaw. I
Yeah.
think I think he took that round off. I do, but
Yeah.
it wasn't as if he wasn't active.
No, he was active. He threw.
And that's the thing.
He threw 8 of 51. It just, to me, it didn't like he put his foot on the gas in that round. It looked like, and in the fourth round, he did come out a lot more fiery, and you've seen it. But
And yeah,
but the big issue was at the end of round 3 was the 1-2 that Kamaru landed that broke Kobe's jaw, which we found out later in the fight.
I thought it was around. Oh yeah, round two. Yeah, at the end of round two was when he
No,
yeah,
round
his jaw
3.
broke.
Round 3.
It was round 3.
Yeah,
Oh
he was
yeah,
getting dominated in round 3, and that's just so he took the round off. And in that moment, go towards the end of the round 3, he took the 1-2 by Kamaru, which Kamaru landed beautifully and broke his jaw. And then in round 4,
yeah.
Kobe comes out firing, come out energetic, and I thought Kobe comes in there may have gotten round 4, but that round 3 1-2 by Kamaru really changed the fight, because as you get to round 5, that's when you see the damage really take its toll on Kobe Covington.
Toll.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because when you get to round 5, and I believe the stoppage was around what, a minute and some change, if I'm not mistaken.
He had like a minute left a minute and
Yeah.
left into the fight.
A minute some change, right?
Yeah.
It's very interesting because at that point I had the scoring 2-2. Like that's how close this fight was for me, at least.
That's fair.
And starting that round, Colby came out.
Yeah.
I mean, Colby uppercut, cross, hook, cross, jab, cross. Like, I mean, I was very impressed. I was like, shit, Colby might win this if Kamaru doesn't step it up. But it's the power of Kamaru. And I won't say these guys are fatigued in general from the fight. No one's going to sit here and try to fight and keep his pace up for forever. But if you notice, these guys were still able to go.
Yeah,
these guys were still able to go that 5th round. So that's what impressed me. Colby's hands impressed me. But then the third thing that impressed me was Kamaru's power was still there, and it was crisp. It was crisp.
It was crisp. And he was able to take the damage that Kobe Covington. Kobe Covington hit him a bunch of times, and we've seen that he had a chin. He was able to withstand that, keep his composure, and still land fire back.
Tyrese, that first minute of round 5 was interesting because Kobe was. I mean, it was. You've played UFC 3, and you ever just get used to hitting somebody. So like now you're landing a 50-piece combo, and you just tapping them.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn! Like how much more is he just gonna keep hitting him like this? And it wasn't as if he was like, backing up and like, I can't get hit. Kamaru took those hits.
Yeah.
That's he was taking these combos. I don't know what to be more impressed, the fact that Kobe threw those 50-piece or that Kamaru was taking them. Like he was like, all right, cool. That was good. That was good, but I'm gonna hit you with something better. And then he caught Colby on the jaw. That cross, that jab cross was his bread and butter this night. The jab cross, the jab too. The jab was each guy's signature. The jab and the cross, because round 1 was literally, there was some points where you see them just landing jabs on each other, just boom, back up, boom. They were both back each other up, boom, back each other up. Jab cross. One was slip, the other's jab cross, slip, jab cross. So it was just the tail of the tape was really who landed the jab and who landed the cross at the best time.
And the body shots that Kamaru did early on in the fights added up. It added up to the point where now Covington's dropping his hands a little bit. And now you could drop the right cross.
Yeah, you get that. Again, going head body is a big confusion, especially after 20 minutes of fighting.
So Kamaru stuns Colby Covington, and from there he drops him at least 2 times in the 5th round, and then we get the job done. I thought it was a good stoppage. I didn't see anything wrong with it, because even if that fight went on, Kamaru was going to win that fight. If we had a 2-2 going into the 5th round, Kamaru wins that fight. Maybe 10-8 in that 5th round.
Here's my thing. We had by the time they stopped it, it was like close to a minute.
Yeah.
I think if Colby had recovered in any way, Kamaru would have still pressed forward.
Yeah.
I think he would have finished it in another way, and it would have been worse for Colby.
Yeah.
Now, if Kamaru was never able to land that strike, I can tell you right now, Colby Covington would have been champion. If Kamaru was never able to land the right that caught him to the jaw on his left side,
Yeah.
Kamaru would have lost his belt. But again, this is a testament to how good Kamaru is. Kamaru is just that good.
And again, that third round is so significant because Kobe Covington takes that round off. He's trying, like you said, he's trying to download the data, try to figure out what to do. Kamaru Usman,
And he's dealing with the broken jaw. He's dealing with the broken jaw at that point.
No, he's not. But he's not. He's taking the round. He's taking the round off. Kamaru Usman still had that same pace, which is incredible. Kamaru Usman kept the same pace going for 5 rounds. That's incredible.
Rounds.
That's incredible. Kobe Covington took a round off to me. Kamaru Usman kept the pressure going. Kobe Covington in the 3rd round gets caught with the 1-2 at the end of the fight. That changes everything because now the damage going into the 5th round where Kamaru Usman lands the same hit
jab
strikes
cross,
again.
Yeah.
Hurts Covington to the point where he can't continue. I thought it was beautifully done by Kamaru Usman.
Again, this is the issue with this fight, is because these guys cancel each other out. It's like when the opportunity, who makes a mistake first was really the tale of this tape. Who made a mistake first? And I wouldn't even say Kobe made a mistake, but he got caught. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Kamaru got him. He had his number in that 5th round. And again, it wasn't like Kobe was getting his ass whipped for the whole round. That first part of round 5, Kobe was catching him, but then the power of Usman just over 5 rounds, it played a factor into whether or not Kobe was able to stand.
Agreed. Totally agree. So Usman wins the fight. He's now still your undisputed welterweight champion. He's only 32 years old. He's on a 15-fight win streak. Where does Usman go from here? Because when I look at these rankings, right, he beat Tom Willie, who's ranked number 1. He just beat Kobe Covington, who's ranked number 2. Masvidal is there, but we're going to talk about that in a second. Leon Edwards, he already beat already in 2015. And then RDA, he already beat in 2018. So I don't know where does Usman go from here. The only person that sticks out and that he hasn't fought yet is Jorge Masvidal. I just don't see Jorge Masvidal taking that fight.
Now, the weight of the welterweight division isn't as if we have so much clutter. It's just that we don't have a clear cut. We have a number 1. We do have a number 1. You can't say that we don't have a number 1 contender. However, it's whether or not that number 1 contender wants to take that fight.
Agreed.
It's not that we don't have a number 1 contender, because Jorge Masvidal has beaten some top names. He beat Nate Diaz. Some people say he hasn't beaten anybody else. Well, I mean, look at his resume. He beat Darren Till, who had just came off the title. He beat Askren. Yep. The only person, and he beat Nate Diaz. So realistically, he has the resume. He's had a fantastic year. He's a very big household name now. Yep. It would make the stars have aligned to make sense that Masvidal fights next for the belt. That would be it, right? That would be theoretically on paper the ascension up the ladder. Right. However, being that we are in the money age, being that we want the most we want the most money for our fight because you can't fight forever. We know this. No. This is just facts. You can't fight forever. Masvidal has also stated that he wants to finish fighting in the next 3 years. Whether or not that happens or not, possible. Masvidal wants to make as much money as possible. Now, with variables like Conor fighting at 170 and a couple other guys here, the argument can be made that he doesn't fight Kamaru. The argument can be made that he chooses to take the money fight over Kamaru, right? Agreed. He's already won the BMF belt. He's gotten paid for that. The next payday would be to fight Conor McGregor if Conor's available.
Yes.
Right? Then option 2 would be another fight with any of the Diaz guys, right?
Nate or Nick.
And I'm going to group them together because we don't know if that Nate Diaz rematch will happen. He said he would, and we know Masvidal would, right? That's not the issue. It's whether or not that fight come to fruition. That fight has to come to fruition for where both guys are getting paid the amount of money they want, but is also reasonable on UFC's part. Or, he fights Nick, the older brother, who I'm not saying he's not in shape, but he hasn't fought in a while, so we don't know the time frame of when he'll actually be ready to fight Masvidal.
Agreed.
And then option 3 would be Kamaru. Now, Masvidal has gotten money. He wants more money. But realistically, and he has a BMF belt, realistically, I think he should take that fight to Kamaru. I think he should take that fight against Kamaru. I think he should. I'm sorry. My option, option as a fan and as like a guy who watched UFC was he should fight Kamaru and prove that's like it's not he didn't make it here just because he beat a couple guys. He made it here because he has the skill and the talent. You know,
Okay.
that's why he has the BMF belt. That's correct me if I'm wrong, but like that, what would be the point? The point now is that you want to make as much money before you finish fighting. Correct?
Agreed. I just don't think that's what Usman. And
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
that was my biggest gripe with this thing is the fact that Usman has beaten pretty much everybody in this division, and I think he beats anybody else in this division. I think he beats Stephen Thompson. I think he beats Santiago Ponzinibbio. I think he already beat Damian Maia already. So there really isn't any other matchup besides Jorge Masvidal. The problem is Jorge Masvidal is a bigger name than Usman. So when your challenger is bigger than your champion, that creates a whole different lot of issues. Because it's like I don't need to have the championship. I'm already getting these deals. I'm already on ESPN. I'm already doing all these other stuff without being the champion. So I really don't need it.
Yeah. This is the point you brought up last night, and I agree. I think that you have if you're a bigger star than technically a champ, and I'm not saying Kamaru's not a big star, but realistically, I mean Masvidal had one of the best 2019s I've seen, like, out of a lot of fighters, like his 2019 was fantastic.
When The Rock is shouting you out and you're on ESPN, the Dan Le Batard show, you've arrived.
You have arrived, my good
man. Kamaru Usman, even though he's a great welterweight champion, even though he's a fantastic fighter, he has not risen to that yet. And for a challenger who is more popular than a champion, it just doesn't make any sense. So that's why Usman will probably be the number 3 or 4 option behind, Conor fight, a Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz fight. Maybe they figure out a Khabib situation. I don't know, but what I'm saying is Masvidal has so many other options besides Usman, and Usman is not the person that's going to get him the big money fights that he wants.
I think here's what's going to happen. Usman, if that fight, I think that fight's going to happen, and let me tell you why. Because Usman's going to have to defend the belt against somebody. And realistically, the only person that he, who is the number, like, is in that spot of number 1 or that spotlight is Jorge Masvidal, because he has the momentum. He's been on a tear. UFC is probably going to pay him a good amount of money to fight Kamaru. Correct? Now you elevate his status as the star of as UFC, because he already has the BMF belt. He has 2 belts now. One that's like an actual divisional belt, and one is the title. So that elevates his star status in terms of what he can be. But I understand what you're saying, because he's already such a star now, is that he may not even need the belt to solidify. But as a UFC fighter, like the tail of the tape really is, what would be the point of fighting if you didn't want to be a champion? Like that's just realistically, that's what I just feel like the fighter in Masvidal is going to want that belt more, but like the money is good. Like I know he's getting paid.
No, yeah. And that's the thing, right? So if Masvidal takes this fight, he's the BMF champion. He has all this momentum. He has all this hype. He can go on ESPN anytime he wants to. He has this publicity. He's a star.
He's a star. Honestly, he's a star.
He's probably one of the biggest stars in the UFC right now.
Agreed.
If Masvidal takes this fight, the BMF champion, and loses to the welterweight champion, his stock drops dramatically. Yeah. And I think that's also the big factor, is that Usman is capable enough to beat Masvidal. Masvidal's issue is against wrestlers that can keep on him and keep grappling with him. That's Masvidal's kryptonite. If I'm Masvidal and you're thinking about, okay, I can get this money fight with Conor McGregor and make money off of this. I can get Nick Diaz or Nick Diaz. The Usman fight, there's not a lot of there's more risk than reward for me, because I'm already making more money than Usman. I'm already popular than Usman, and I'm facing a guy that has more skill sets to actually beat me, and I'll lose my star power. That's the issue that we're facing with this welterweight division, is the fact that Masvidal is such a big star now, and he's number 1 contender, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But that fight doesn't align anymore.
Yeah, so, it's hard.
Now, to devil's advocate, if Colby Covington was to win this fight, which would have been better for the UFC, Colby Covington has so many fresh matches in his division. He has the Masvidal fight, which is a grudge match in itself.
Yeah,
you could do Leon Edwards. You could do all these other fights, You could do Tyron Woodley. You could do all these other interesting fights for Covington. With
Yeah,
Covington not winning this fight, now you have Kamaru Usman, who's already beaten pretty much half of this top five, this top
yeah,
10.
he's beating a lot. Yeah, he's beating a lot of those guys on his way up.
So the UFC has a big problem heading into 2020 where I wonder how they handle this Usman in this welterweight division because who does Usman have left to fight?
I mean, you're right. I think I'd be interested in seeing how they handle this, but I mean, it's not Usman's fault that he's beaten. He's
No,
like,
it's not his
like it's,
fault.
and that's the thing. Like, it's like you can't blame. Like, this is just the reality that it is. Like,
Yeah,
he beat these guys on his way up. Like, like it's and he fights a few times, 2 to 3 times a year tops. I feel like Usman, maybe 2 at the most, maybe I don't know. But he's beat these guys in the past, and let's see if they can beat him or if they've grown in any way to fight him again. If not, then we know they didn't. But realistically, I think I don't. I see the Masvidal fight happening.
mm-hmm.
I just don't know when. And if it happens after the Conor fight, I'm not upset because the Conor fight's going to only going to help Masvidal. But
Right.
if I get what you're saying, if the Kamaru fight happens before Conor fight can even come to fruition, or that fight happens sooner, then that does lower his stock because now you built up this guy who is the baddest motherfucker, and then boom, he loses to the guy who wasn't the so called baddest motherfucker because he doesn't have the belt.
Right.
It just I see what you're saying. The appeal, it kind of gets lost there, but I
Exactly.
mean, I feel like at the end of the day, I do think UFC is gonna push for a welterweight fight between Masvidal and Kamaru. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think they're gonna push.
I could agree on that. I think anything is possible. I think they'll try to find a way to figure out what's next for this in this welterweight division. It's gonna be hard though. It's gonna be hard.
Hard,
But
yeah.
Usman beats Colby Covington in the 5th round by TKO. I think Colby Covington from here, he's gonna take a long time off. He has a broken jaw. I think the next fight they should look at is probably going Tyron Woodley down the line, like Dana White alluded to.
Yeah.
I personally think with this Colby Covington act, before we go off of this topic, I'm not a Colby Covington hater. I don't like some of the stuff that he says, but I get the gimmick. I get the gimmick because Colby Covington. The gimmick sells. It's the situation now in this climate to do it to get people to react, and so I understand it, and I hope what we get from this is that Colby Covington doesn't need to have this persona in order to be an exciting fighter, which was the problem to begin with the UFC was going to cut him because he couldn't put on exciting fights. He just proved in this Usman fight he can.
He did. I think he solidified himself as an actual contender for the belt. And I don't think he goes away after this. I really don't. Depending on how he comes back from that jaw injury, because that's a hard one. That's a hard one to really recover from.
Right.
But if I'm being honest with you, again, I don't see too many people beating Colby in this division. Some people can, but I don't. Right. I think that number is very, very small. If I'm being honest with you, that number is probably limited to about 2 to 3 people. I don't see Colby, that's how good I think Colby is. And that's what he's proved from this fight.
It's going to be interesting to see how he comes back, but I just really hope that even the UFC understands that, yes, some of these fighters that don't have the persona, don't have the name recognition, don't have the popular personality on Twitter or Facebook or social media or Instagram, they are still interesting fighters and can still be a star. You have to push them to make them a star.
Yeah, I think it depends. The fighter's job is to fight.
Yes.
The fighter's job is to fight. The manager's job is to help get them. The manager's job is to help to get the fighter the best possible deal with the promotion. But the promoter's job is to make sure that their fights are selling. Now, we have personalities and we have people who just don't talk. Right. But your job is to promote all fighters, not just one.
Exactly. And I think that's what we came with this Colby Covington situation is where they couldn't sell a fighter that can actually fight and that could be a contender. They needed a gimmick, and that's how you got this whole situation with Colby Covington. I hope now this is a lesson learned that maybe a fighter that can actually be a contender doesn't need to have a gimmick. And if you just have him on your roster, if you're going to be the best MMA organization in the world.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it. But moving on, man. Usman wins the fight. I want to see what happens in 2020. The big news out of this whole card, Alexander Volkanovski beats Max Holloway unanimous decision 45-50, 47-48 in 47-48. Unanimous decision across the board. Alexander Volkanovski is your new featherweight champion, dethroning Max Holloway. Sir, you're the biggest Max Holloway fan I know.
I
What
truly
was going through your mind as you watched this fight?
I think when I thought about how Volkanovski could win, I didn't
Mm.
think it would be from boxing alone. There was no way I thought that Volkanovski would be able to get the better on his boxing. I do think Volkanovski is a very strong guy, and I was
Mm.
very interested to see how he put it all together because you're not going to be able to just use one technique against Max, right? This is a guy who's got the range, who's got the size, he's got the cardio to keep up with you.
Right.
What I was very impressed with was the fact that he started off with leg kicks, and with a guy like Max Holloway, a lot of his fights are based around his movement.
Right.
Like there's some guys who can just throw heat. That's just it. Based on like their size and their bulk or whatever, they can throw heat from their technique. Max's game plan is to he circles in and out, pop, pop, circle left, circle right, switch
Right.
stances, get you off your tempo, right? Keep the long range, keep the jab, mixing the elbow here and there, pretend mixing the knee, like that's his game plan is really about his mobility. And Volkanovski neutralized that in the first round. So once that happened, I was like, damn, let's see how Max recovers. And it wasn't until the fourth and fifth round where we saw any kind of like, all right, Max is gaining that momentum back. And then by then it was kind of hard to persuade the judges that like, oh, like Volkanovski's not outclassing him. Like, and I don't think Volkanovski beat him. You said 45-50.
Yeah, 45-50.
I think when we hear numbers like that, we assume the guy just got like demolished, but it really was just those leg kicks. Because if you look at Volkanovski after the fight compared to Max didn't take a lot of damage to his face. And he didn't take a lot of damage to his body, but the legs were chewed up. And I think that was the brilliant game plan behind Volkanovski. I think that was what proved that Volkanovski is of that next level and of that championship caliber or that championship material. I was sad to see Max lose, man. I love Max, that's I love you don't understand Max Holloway.
I know you're the biggest fan.
I'm telling you, I remember that day we were watching the Cubs Swansea. I was like, I love Cub, but I don't know. Max Holloway is dangerous right now. Like he's getting some momentum. Submits the guy. I'm like, Tyrese, I told you. Then submits Andre. What's going on? Like he's just running through 45ers.
Right.
And although I am upset with the decision, I think Max comes back better, if I'm being honest with you. I think he comes back better. I don't think he's going to change too many things of his game. I think he's going to stick to his strengths and weaknesses. I mean, well, it's most of his strengths. But I think this is a learning moment for him. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that you're right. I told you after this fight, I think this could be a trilogy. I think UFC has something here where this fight, and they want to do it in Australia. Want to do a rematch in Australia. I love the idea. I wonder when they're going to do it though. But this featherweight fight could be a trilogy. I really can see it. I think both of them are very exceptional fighters. I think they both can win on any given day. I thought in this fight particularly, Alex Volkanovski outclassed Max Holloway. And I think he came in with a better game plan, and he studied Max Holloway. Like we said before, Max Holloway loves to stand switch. He loves to be in and out. They studied that, and they decided to go to leg kicks early. And we're watching this fight, and we're a group of people. And they're like, well, Max Holloway's winning the fight. He's winning the fight. And they're not counting the leg strikes. As the fight goes on, you see the leg strikes add up to the point where Max Holloway can't really do the movement that he likes to do.
No, that lateral movement was hard. It was hard for him. That lateral movement, the in and outs, those time switches, the stance switches, those are a lot harder when your legs hurt.
And he couldn't move forward. Every time he tried to move forward and try to get his flow, the leg kicks were always there, and it's always stopped him. And that was perfect gameplay by Alex Volkanovski to start early with those leg kicks. Max Holloway was not going to check him, and it just added on to the fight.
I think
Alex Volkanovski was able to catch him with leg kicks, and now he's mobile. He's not side to side. He's just standing right in front of you, flat footed.
Yeah, I think that was a very smart. And that was the thing. I think he understood what needed to happen with Max Holloway because in the Aldo fight, in the second Aldo fight, I should say, I think it was round 2 is when Aldo caught him with some leg kicks and he didn't check him. And I think they realized that. I think they were like, well, he's not going to check these. He's probably going to take the pressure and come forward because he's a tough guy. He thinks he can go through it. Anyway, he probably could. But again, from what we've seen over time, is that those leg kicks add up.
Yeah.
Like that's just it. That's just it. There's no way. That's just it. There's no other way of getting around it. So I thought that was very interesting about Volkanovski. And again, I'm a fan of Volkanovski. I mean, I was telling you about him. I was very impressed by him when he fought Chad Mendes. That's when
Yep.
I was like, wow, like he's got it. You know, I think this is just one of those moments where it's like, you know, remember, I think this is going to be one of those moments where we have the same thing as Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of those kind of moments where it's like he got him the first time, like he did good, regardless of whatever was with the other fighter. He got him. He got him. That's just it, you
Right.
know. But the next fight, we just don't know. We just don't know.
We just don't know. Let me read you the round by round strike points. Right. So in round one, Max landed 13 of 33 to the head. Alex Volkanovski went 11 of 34 to the head. Here's the
Yeah.
interesting part. Max goes 2 of 3 in the first round to the leg. Alex Volkanovski goes 13 of 18 unchecked. Round two, Max goes 16 of 46 to the head. Alex goes 4 of 19. So he's not investing going headshots. He's not going headshots.
No, he's looking at the long game.
Look at the long game. Max goes 4 of 5 to the legs in round two. Alex Volkanovski goes 22 of 25. Deadly. Round three, you start seeing Max Holloway change his stance. He's now going from orthodox to southpaw.
Yep.
You see, that's also a key thing to this fight. Alex Volkanovski knew Max Holloway is better when he stance switches and he can move from orthodox to southpaw. Leaving him at southpaw is a lot easier to tag
that lead leg.
Max. Yes. Max goes 13 to 46 to the head. Alex Volkanovski ups it up a little bit more because he's southpaw, 14 to 34. He still can change with the leg kick, 6 of 10 for Max. Alex Volkanovski, 15 to 17.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a recurring thing over and over and over again. That from that second round and first round, where he's hitting the leg and makes Max Holloway go southpaw is what changed the fight, because now at southpaw, Alex Volkanovski is able to hit him more towards the head and still go to the legs as well.
Yeah, it's hard because when he switched to southpaw, at first Volkanovski was getting clipped.
Yes.
And then it was like, then he made the right adjustment. It was like, all right, cool. Leg kick, head, leg kick, head.
Yeah.
And then in round 4 is when we saw Max start to start the jab. And I don't think Volkanovski slowed down. But what I want to say is that it appeared as if Volkanovski was like, all right, this is like, I'm doing enough. Let's just like see where this goes, you know? Like he was trying to gauge or like what Max has left. And that's when Max turned up.
Well, I also think Max Holloway went back to orthodox and he just said, screw it, I have to go for broke. And I think that was what changed the fight. So Max Holloway was down, I think, 3 rounds going into round 4.
Rounds.
And I thought Max Holloway in that 4th round said, you know what, he woke up maybe and said, I'm just going to go orthodox, just take the leg kicks and do better. And he actually did better in the 5th round, going orthodox.
Yeah, I think he was worried. I think he was. Yeah. Those leg kicks hurt. Those leg kicks hurt. There's no other way around it. I think those leg kicks had him stunned for a while. But then when his corner told him, "Hey," they must have told him something because he had to wake up. They had to wake up. But it was a very interesting fight. I think again, Holloway is probably the best 45er. I don't think this takes away from him being one of the best 45ers ever. But I do say big ups to Volkanovski. I mean, you dethroned the guy who dethroned Aldo. You know, like
that was impressive for me, honestly, because it's not just the leg kicks. It's the game plan and the thinking going into the fight. I need to do this in order to get Max Holloway to not be able to stand switch, to not be able to move lateral. It was a perfect game plan by Alex Volkanovski.
I think that's most people fight and say, well, if Max does this, I do this. It wasn't if I'm doing this, Max has to do this.
Right.
And I think that's what worked. I think he imposed his will and Max had to adapt to what Volkanovski wanted.
He studied Max Holloway for this fight, and you see the adjustments. Even when we went southpaw and was catching Alex Volkanovski, Alex was able to make adjustments, is able to, okay, now I can do this. Now I could go body, head, body, leg. It was a beautiful performance by Alex Volkanovski. He's on an 18-fight win streak. He's only 31 years old. This rematch is supposedly, they're looking about doing it in Australia. I would love it. I think maybe doing it Israel Adesanya and Max Holloway on the same card would be a great.
Not Costa, sorry. Yoel Romero.
That would be a great card. Romero, Izzy, Alex Volkanovski, Max 2. I think that'd be a great card
Holloway.
in Australia.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. What
Yeah.
I thought was interesting about this fight was that Max, towards the later rounds, Max was able to land body kicks. And a lot of them seemed like they didn't stun Volkanovski, but like he got caught with them,
Yeah.
right? And I was very interested to see why Max didn't throw any head kicks.
Mm.
I think with Max head went to the body early with with maybe push kicks and steep teep kicks. And another interesting thing I saw just in a tangent is that Max threw a couple of oblique kicks. He threw a couple of oblique kicks, which was very interesting.
Yeah.
So I think if he had, I mean, it may have made him tired more. Who knows? But if he incorporates a little bit more kicks into the fight with Volkanovski, because you don't see that with people who fight Volkanovski. A lot of
Right.
people try to go hands and he takes them down or whatever, and he smashes them. I think the kicks were there at some points.
Mm.
I think Max has the range with his legs, and I think the push kicks and his teep kicks. Those are also. I want to see him incorporate that if when it comes to a rematch. I don't know. And I think that could change the game too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely think the next fight, the rematch, when it happens, is going to be a totally different fight. I think they're going to make adjustments on both sides and figure out what they can do to win.
Yeah.
I think out of the three title fights, this was the best outcome because now in a featherweight division that still needs to grow and figure out who the next contender is. Now you have Alex Volkanovski and Max Holloway who probably go a trilogy.
It's also interesting. Volkanovski hasn't fought a lot of the older guys as well. So if he really wants to cement his status, he could fight guys like Frankie Edgar. He could fight guys like Korean Zombie. He can fight guys like Brian Ortega. Like there's a lot more fights for him than there are for Holloway because Holloway was at the Volkanovski is truly the only guy in featherweight he probably didn't beat.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Good fight.
We may see Max Holloway if Max Holloway was to win the rematch. We could see a trilogy later in the year. If they let's say they do it in April, Max Holloway wins that fight. They're both good enough to go at the end of the year. Man, we could see Max Holloway another year at 145, and then next year if he was to beat Volkanovski in a trilogy, it makes his jump to 155 even bigger. And if Volkanovski beats Max Holloway twice, this fight and then go into the rematch, Volkanovski has a claim to be an argument to be going to be that next best 145 of all time.
Agreed.
Moving on, Amanda Nunes beats Jermaine Duranami by unanimous decision, 49-45, 49-46, 49-44. I like what do you think of this fight?
You know that part in Baby Boy? You ever seen Baby Boy?
I did. I love the movie.
You ever see that part? Oh, you got heart? You got heart? That's the only thing that comes to mind for this fight. You got heart? Oh, you got heart, huh? Bam. I think this was Amanda's best fight, in my opinion, because
the rest
it wasn't. Yeah, thank you. It wasn't the fact that she was throwing and finish her. Like we know, Amanda's an excellent finisher, and in her last 5 fights, she has truly not been in that much trouble, unless you count the cyber fight where she got stunned, but she was still there. She hasn't been in a lot of trouble, correct?
Yes.
Now, with this fight, it wasn't that so much that Durandame was piecing her up, but it was the fact that she had her reserves into fighting Durandame. They were done by round 2. So now that we're in DEFCON 1, where we're just fuck, what's going, what can I do to beat this girl? Because I'm, she can beat me on the hands, but that's about it. Now I gotta take you down.
Right.
But I'm not gonna wrestle you because I'm not a wrestler for I'm not a wrestler for 25 minutes. That's not me. But I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna get this fucking win. And that was where I was like, wow. It wasn't that she had to make too many adjustments, but she chose the game plan that wasn't her usual game plan. I think that showed again, I think you were one of the people who were like, Amanda's a star. If this didn't cement her as the greatest female fighter, MMA fighter of all time, I don't know what will. I truly don't know what will. And it's not because of who she fought, it's because of the way she fought her.
And we'll talk about Amanda Nunes and the star potential and what she goes from here in a second. But yeah, I thought this fight was a great showing for Amanda Nunes. Probably one of her best performances yet. The ability to in the first round take it to Duranami. She hits with an overhand right, hurts her, then switches the game plan up to take Duranami down. And you see the fight goes on. You see Duranami is clearly the better striker. She caught Amanda a couple of times in the second round. One with the question mark kick, right?
Yep.
The other was the flying knee. So
Couple knees, 3 knees in a row.
Nunes was in trouble in this fight. She got clipped a bunch of times. She was able to stay in there and was able to telegraph some of the strikes that Durant was trying to do, like going over with the right hand or with
Yeah.
the straight, and able to duck under and go for a takedown, which I thought was beautiful. It was perfect timing, able to do those and set those up.
Agreed. I think the timing for the takedowns were like there was a takedown where they were close to the fence and
Right.
she got it, and Durandame, she sprawled and tried to bring her up, and then for some people it would be like, all right, cool, like I don't got it, let me just rest here.
Right.
Amanda said, no, and it manages to secure the takedown via it was an outside trip, but it was like, the leg came behind her leg and tripped her, and I was like that's champ shit, like that's just again shit, like Shannon Britt, like let's go champ, let's go, like like it was just I was happy for her.
It reminded me of what Poirier tried to do to Khabib. Right, he has the back, whatever, and switches over with the leg. He grabs the right or left leg and able to take that switch over, which I thought was beautiful against the cage.
I think sorry.
No, yeah, I thought Amanda Nunes did a great job in this fight. She pretty much dominated JDR, except for the moment where she got caught with the flying knee and she got her question mark kick. Other than that, Amanda Nunes pretty much dominated this whole entire fight.
I was proud of Amanda last night. Again, she got heart. She got heart because it wasn't like she was losing, but she understood that she would lose if she stuck to where she was comfortable.
Yes, and that was the big adjustment, right? She's used to knocking people out in the first round, and she actually changed the game plan and said, I'm gonna go 25 minutes and just take you down.
And it's not like she doesn't have the jiu-jitsu background. It's not like she doesn't understand wrestling, because she showed the technique, she showed the jiu-jitsu, she showed the position on the top game. But that wasn't that had to be the last resort, like that wasn't what she like. And I knew that too. Part of me knew that going into this fight, Durandame is high level striking. We know that.
Yeah.
But Amanda is the all-around she's an MMA, she's the all-around MMA fighter. And that's what you have, the fight of someone who does something so well, the specialist, versus someone who does everything good, And that's the issue. The specialist is only as good as when it comes to that one thing, but the person who does MMA is good in everything. And so if it has to go to other places, they're very capable of handling themselves. But then you have the specialist who can piece you up, and that's the issue. That's the issue. It just, I don't know, man. I think Durandame, JDR, I think what we need to see from her is an evolution in ground game.
Well, I mean, she's at the age now where I don't think, I don't see where else she goes from here, JDR.
That's fair.
She's been there for a long, long time. Maybe started MMA a little bit late in terms of like really, really getting into it. She's gotten better over the years, but she's not able to catch up to where Amanda Nunes is right now, and that's the problem. But Amanda Nunes wins this fight pretty much dominantly. My question, and this we talk about the star power of Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes has finally gained traction. She beat Ronda Rousey, which was a big moment. She beat Cyber, which was a bigger moment. And now she beats Holly Holm by the head kick. She's grown all this momentum. I don't see where Amanda Nunes goes from here. And I think Amanda Nunes caught fire at the wrong time.
I will say this. I agree with that, because it's hard for her to, she's gone through everyone, honestly. Yeah. She's gone through anyone. So now you could pair her up with fresh blood, but realistically, if Amanda wanted to retire, she could. But she's still she's still capable of fighting. It's not like she's she's just that good. So I don't know, it's hard. It's like her career. I'm not saying she's hitting the glass ceiling because she can only get so good. I'm saying that the cap for the women's MMA in terms of the featherweight and bantamweight are only so high.
Right.
But she's broken through the roof. But now you're right. What ideally would be next, and that's hard to say.
If the star power that we seen after the Cyborg fight came before or during the Ronda Rousey fight, Amanda Nunes should have been the bigger star in women's MMA. She's honestly, when you look at her story and you look at who she is as a person, how she acts, and there's argument she should be a bigger star than Ronda Rousey. because
Yeah, but again, it's the timing.
yes,
It's the timing and make the timing of all of a career makes everything. Ronda was the first bantamweight champion, inducted as the first, you know?
yeah.
And then in the process of growing that division, she beat anyone they threw in front of her, right? So it's not that's not going to look as impressive as Amanda's doing, but like at that time when there was nothing, anything like I'm not saying it did, anything can look good, but like
Right.
realistically, if Ronda's beating all these girls she's throwing at her, that's why she's going to look good, is because she's demolishing these people.
No, but the UFC, but that's where we talk about promotion and the promoter,
Yeah.
promoting the fighters. Amanda Nunes had all that. Like she had all this before the Ronda Rousey fight. She beat Miesha Tate in the first women's main event of like the UFC 200, I believe it
Yeah,
was.
when that was the
The
fight
big
card with Brock Lesnar.
the big fight card. We have Brock Lesnar, you have all these stars, and the women's fight is the main event.
Yeah.
And they don't do a good job with Nunes there. They had the Ronda Rousey fight. Ronda Rousey comes back. They're promoting Ronda Rousey like crazy. Not Amanda Nunes. It just every time.
Ronda was the favorite for that fight too, wasn't she?
Yes, which is crazy. But what I'm saying is this whole entire lead
Oh
up,
man.
ever since going towards the Cyborg fight, Amanda Nunes was never shown as like this champion, this person that is a role model. The first openly, she's the openly gay champion in the UFC,
Yeah.
which honestly, that's incredible. Her story is incredible, but yet she never was seen as a priority. It seemed like. Up
No.
until the Cyborg fight, when the Cyborg fight happened, that's when Amanda Nunes finally
Yeah,
arrived.
everyone was like, no, that's when everyone jumped on board. Amanda News has been here. That's when everyone jumped on board.
Right, but the star was already too late, right? Because she's already been through Shevchenko. She already beat Shevchenko twice. She already beat Dranomir.
I think
she
I
beat
will say
Ronda Rousey.
this.
She beat Hulk.
I will say if she fought Shevchenko now and beat her, it would be much bigger than when she fought her back when she was in bantamweight. Right. I will say that.
Yeah, so she already beaten all these high level contenders where the money fights and the big promotion could have been. Now Amanda is at the end of her career, really, and there's really not anybody really left for her to fight that's really worth talking about.
Like, Truth be told, no.
No,
yeah.
Look at the rankings. So she beats JDR, right? Kayla Vieira, who was supposed to be this next up and comer, she lost to Irina Aldana.
Aldana last night, number 2 to number 10.
Exactly. Holly Holmes, she already beat. Aspen Ladd is 9-1 in UFC.
Yeah.
Juliana Pena is 9-3. You go down the card even more. Rank number 10 right now is Ariana Aldana. Those are the 3 possible contenders. They all have records way below where Nunes is at right now. So they're not credible contenders at this point in time.
It's not that it's just Amanda is just so high up there now at this point. Again, there's only 2 options: is to sit and wait for someone and keep busy,
or retire.
Retire, find bliss.
It's sad, man. It's sad because Amanda probably could have been a bigger star than where she is now.
I don't disagree.
If the UFC promoted her when they should have had.
And it's not like they're not promoting her now. It's not that they're not, but compared to when they could have, there is a big there's a little discrepancy, and I think it's going to end up hurting her, unfortunately. But she's a star, and it's not that she's not going to be in a lot of things and not included and all that. It's just that we just knew the potential.
She could have been an even bigger star. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? She's already had these great fights against these great contenders before the Cyborg fight. So now it's all right. Well, who does she fight next?
Well, again, it's just the timing of the division. I agree. A lot of it's come with timing. A lot of it can be put on, marketing and things like that. Yeah. But it was that time of the division where it was once Ronda moved, it was like, all right, shit, fresh blood, get it in. Someone's got to be at the top, and that's when Amanda was like, oh no, I'm the top. I'm the alpha here. Let me show you why. And that's when it came, and it came in the absence of Ronda. And the issue is going to fight Ronda again. It was just sorry. Going to fight Ronda is what got her oh shit, she's on the map. And then beating those other women was wow, she's great. Beating Cyborg was whoa.
No. We were on board.
Yeah.
The UFC promotion was not on board because during the Ronda Rousey lead up, they were only promoting Ronda Rousey. So when Ronda Rousey lost in decisive fashion, there was no promotion towards
Decisive? No. Destructive, sir.
yes,
Destructive.
destructive. But there was no real promotion for Amanda Nunes until the
No,
Cyborg fight. So like
agreed.
again, like you said, the contenders are already pretty much gone. She's now left with Aspen Ladd, who's 9-1, Juliana Pena, who's 9-3, and Arena Aldana, who's 10-12-5. These girls are now on the same level as Amanda Nunes. Again, we're at a situation where Amanda Nunes has pretty much beaten all the greats in the women's division. She can retire right now, and I wouldn't blame her.
The issue is she still has such. She can still go for she can still fight. I agree.
Yeah, but she's already beat the greats. So, but I posed this to you, and I thought about this last night, and she was on the camera. What if Amanda Nunes was to fight Clarissa Shields? Clarissa Shields is somebody that's in women's boxing, one of the women's boxing's biggest stars. I know they tried to do this with Conor McGregor. They tried to do it with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, and how that turned out. I think in terms of using Amanda Nunes and trying to use her star power to the best of her abilities, I think possibly doing a boxing fight with Clarissa Shields, and Amanda Nunes will probably be the best bet.
I think that crossover just raises her stock. Honestly, I don't know. It's. To be honest with you, Clarissa is a beautiful woman.
Yes,
but Clarissa is also a fucking
dangerous.
Killer.
Dangerous. Yes. But that's probably the biggest for Amanda Nunes right now.
I mean, honestly, that's probably the best case scenario for Amanda if we're being because I don't know. I'm not saying the girls who are there in bantamweight can't beat her, but I'm also saying that because she's she's just that good. I don't see her losing. Yeah. Let's say that over a course of the next 2 years, I don't really see her losing. Like I got to be honest with you. Realistically, I would put my money on her every time she fights, right? But with the Clarissa Shield fight, that opens up the realm of like. Can another UFC fighter take on a boxer? Probably not. But that's not the point. That's not the point.
Right.
Now is the ultimate test of whether or not see how good you are as a fighter. And Amanda's proved that she's that fucking good. So I don't know.
And also for Clarissa Shields, who's trying to find her way as one of the biggest women's fighters in the world. And Amanda is finally getting our star power. I think this is the perfect if Amanda wants to cash out and find a fight that will give her enough money to ride off in the sunset, maybe. I think that's the fight.
This is it.
Yeah. She wants to start a family too. I heard of that as well in an interview that she's done. So I think that's a possibility.
Agreed.
For what's next for her in 2020, maybe 2021. But moving on. Marlon Moraes beats Jose Aldo, split decision 28-29, 29-28, 29-28. I thought Aldo won this fight.
I understand why Marlon won. I told you this. I wasn't arguing for our Moraes to win. I was like, oh, he definitely won. This was such a close fight. Round 1, we had Moraes open up just as usual with his head kick, and for some reason he can land it because no one sees it coming.
Exactly.
But Magic Man. I mean, this is why he can pull shit out of the fucking bag,
Right.
But as you see the rounds go close, like round 2, much better with Aldo with just the boxing alone. We're not seeing the leg kicks about Aldo anymore. We're seeing that boxing heavy oriented style, stuffing possible takedowns. We see knees still, so we still have that Muay Thai fighter, but we're getting the boxing. And in the third round, the issue with the third round was because Marlon Moraes, when he hit Aldo, he hit Aldo. But for the majority of the round, he's moving left and right because it seemed like he was like, all right, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Or not, maybe not what to do is a better way to say it, but I don't know what I should be doing right now in order to maybe stop this fight or like secure this fight. It was a very interesting, like he thought he was winning it like 2 rounds. It's like, all right, cool, let me just keep coasting. Oh, he knew this fight was close. Let me just try to outpoint him at this point. And that was the thing. Because he appeared elusive walking around and Aldo was throwing shots and missing, it made it seem as if Aldo was just chasing him, he couldn't land. But if you go back and rewatch that very last round, what you will see is that although they're going strike for strike, it looks like Aldo is just in general getting a lot of good hits on him.
Yes.
And that's where you saw that damage accumulate, was that third round.
And that's what I was thinking during the fight. I thought Aldo, the first round, you could give it to Marlon Moraes. I thought second and the third round, Aldo found himself in the fight. First of all, Aldo looks good at 135. Let's start with that. I thought the weight cut would be a big issue for Aldo. Turns out he handled it like a champ. came in, looked great, looked energetic, looked better than he has in a long time. I thought in terms of the first round to give it to Marlon Moraes, I thought Marlon Moraes did enough. I thought the second and the third round, Aldo really found himself, and you've seen Marlon Moraes slow down. He was using those. He was moving lateral in these big steps and throwing these big leg kicks, these big head kicks, and these big strikes. They kind of gassed himself a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, to where Aldo just kept going and kept going, and it would have been a 5-round fight. Definitely could see the goal.
Aldo won.
Yes,
Aldo would have finished him. I can 100% agree on.
But I think even in this 3-round fight, I thought Aldo did enough. The strikes that were landing did more damage towards Marlon Moraes than Marlon Moraes to Aldo. And I thought the forward pressure was also a big key that should have been counted.
Yeah.
And then when I look at these stats doing it, right? So look at round 1. Marlon Moraes goes 13 of 36 to the head. Aldo goes 9 of 30 to the head. Marlon goes 3 of 4 to the body. Aldo goes 4 of 8 to the body. So it's 16-13 significant strikes towards Marlon Moraes. That's round 1. Round 2, though, Marlon Moraes goes 18 of 51. Aldo goes 20 of 41 to the head. To the body, Marlon goes 2 of 2. Aldo goes 7 of 14. So Aldo is working to the body and getting it, and those hooks.
I think that was a big factor,
which he is so good at. Which is such an underrated move for him. Those hooks to the body was doing damage.
Yeah, I think that's a very big thing in his arsenal is those hooks to the body.
So as I calculate all these, in round 3, Marlon goes 17 of 37 to the head. Aldo goes 10 of 38 to the head. Marlon goes 2 of 3 to the body. Aldo goes 5 of 12 to the body. So 19 of 15. When you add those up, Aldo and Marlon Moraes had the same significant strikes. They both had the same amount of significant strikes landed. I thought, counting that, looking at now, you got to look at the octagon control. I thought Aldo had better octagon control throughout the whole entire fight than Moraes.
Agreed. No, I agree. I think that was that third round. Aldo didn't back down. There was not one point he would get clipped, but Aldo could take a hit, and Aldo was healthy on 135. It was that good.
So now we're in a scenario, right? Cejudo wants Aldo now.
Yeah.
Aldo was good at 135. Cejudo wants Aldo. Dana White thinks Aldo won this fight, even though Judge has it officially beating Jose Aldo by split decision, 28-29, 29-28, 29-28. They're thinking about giving this fight to Aldo. I think it's a huge problem for the bantamweight division now.
Can I tell you something? Wait, that you said giving the fight to Aldo would be a problem?
Yes.
Oh, because he lost?
Because not only because he lost, but now you already have people already in the queue, right? You already have contenders. Aldo's not ranked yet at all.
No, it's not. He'll be ranked by Monday, but I don't know what number. He'll be in top 10, but I don't know if he'll be in the top 5.
So now you have Aldo. When you think he won or not, the judges officially ruled that Aldo lost his fight.
Yep.
If now you're contemplating Aldo fighting Cejudo because Cejudo wants it, that whole division is jacked up now because now you have Aljamain Sterling who's available. Corey Sandhagen's ranked number 3. Peter Yan is favor. Like you have these contenders. Marlon Moraes just beat Aldo officially. So now this bantamweight division is starting to see this issue where the bigger names are starting to get more attractive as a fight for Cejudo.
Yeah.
Which is another issue when we talk about the flyweight division because, again, there's no big names that we talked about previously on the show. There's no big names in the flyweight division. And Cejudo,
besides Joseph Benavidez.
And Cejudo wants these big name fights with like the likes of Aldo.
No, I think he vacates, honestly. I think he vacates flyweight.
Which is interesting because Dana White said he promised that Cejudo promised that he'll defend the flyweight division, the flyweight belt.
I think he'll end up vacating, if I'm being honest.
So now
maybe he'll get one fight. I don't know,
again,
but I don't think he'll win it.
This whole Cejudo bantamweight flyweight champion is really causing confusion because now Cejudo's not taking the number 1 contenders; he's taking names, and it's hurting both divisions now.
Yeah. Not only did we have the standstill, but now he wants people who aren't
even ranked. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not wrong of him to want these guys because Aldo's a legend, but you should probably realistically your first fight back should probably be for one of the belts with someone who's ranked.
Exactly. I have Aldo winning this fight, but he didn't win the fight.
And that the fact is he didn't win the fight. But what would be interesting, and I was just thinking of this scenario this morning, what if Aldo appealed that loss? What if Aldo got that loss overturned?
Man, Vegas don't never appeal fights.
I know.
Damn well.
I know. But let's just say this is in the theory of the multiverse, all options are possible. Thus, there's some reality where Aldo gets an appeal, and then that leads him to Henry Cejudo.
I think what happens, and this is just my view of thinking. I think Danny just thinks Aldo won the fight, and just give Aldo the fight to Cejudo.
I agree.
I think that's the outcome, and I don't like that. I don't like it because officially Aldo lost. Even though I thought Aldo won the fight, he lost.
The judges ruled it a loss.
And again, we're facing this weird time where the money fights are the big thing instead of following the order of
the rankings.
Yeah, but
what we were talking about last night, actually, where does Aldo go from here? I'm sorry, not to cut you off if that's where you're leading to, but I would love again to see Aldo versus Sandhagen.
I love that fight too. I love Aldo versus Sandhagen. If you didn't do that, I love Aldo versus a Cody Garbrandt. I love Aldo versus.
Not yet. Let's build Cody back up first. Let's get Cody some fights in before we send him into the killers.
Well, he's fighting a killer already. He's fighting Javier.
I know. That's so sad. That's such a hard fight.
I
would love to see a rematch. Do Marlon Moraes versus Aldo too in a 5-round fight.
I'll run it back in a fight. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting, right? But I don't think giving Aldo the fight off
the fact that he lost.
Yeah,
I think the fact that he lost is just it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they saw it the other way, and it's not going to change anything. So, realistically, giving Cejudo Aldo wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, but that was the one thing that jumped to me after this fight was that Dana White, saying Cejudo wants this fight, and he said, I think Aldo won the fight.
Yeah,
and I just think that messes up the order of the bantamweight division. And speaking about the bantamweight division, Peter Yan destroys Uriah Faber in a way which I didn't want to see. You made me watch it. I tried to go in the other room, just totally avoid watching this fight. I told you this is gonna be bad. Lo and behold.
Well, wait a minute though. Wait a minute. Let's put some respect on Uriah's name because that first round. Listen, I will say this. That first round was very competitive, but the issue was when Jan caught him, he caught him. And I was just like, yo. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, he was there in the fight. Like, he was fighting. Uriah's doing great. But then when Jan caught him, it was like, ooh. And then the second time I caught him, I was like, all right, shit, like, now we need to get a little worried. And then the third time, I was like, all right, well, this ain't going no other way. We know how this is ending.
So basically, when the fight really started, it's when...
Yo.
Man,
yeah, maybe when the fight really, Tyrese, I don't know,
dude.
I'm not really a fan of his personality because I do think he's a dick. But I think that motherfucker could fight. Yo, Peter Yan is a bad. That's a bad dude. That's a bad dude.
I thought when the fight was announced, I said, "Oh, I don't like this fight. I don't like this
fight."
Well,
we talked about it. We were like, "Ooh," we both were like, "Ooh, is that what we want to do?" And that's also because I don't think anyone wanted to fight Peter Yan. I think that's what it was. Uriah was like, "I'll fight him." Like, and it was interesting because we didn't see Faber go for the takedown. We didn't see that. Like, Faber stood in front of him, and it just was like it ended up being horrible.
He stayed flat-footed. He didn't move lateral. It was just
that first round was good until he was just getting cracked. I'm telling you, Tyrese, like, it was competitive until it got to a point where, like, ooh.
Until the fight really started, it was competitive.
It's interesting, actually, Cody Garbrandt and Peter Yan got into it backstage. And I would love that fight.
Listen, I would like to see Marlon Moraes. Jose Aldo fight Cody Garbrandt. I'm trying to build him up before I do Peter Yan versus Cody Garbrandt. I think Peter Yan versus Cody Garbrandt is a more dangerous fight for Cody Garbrandt.
regardless of building up, you telling me you don't want to see Cody Garbrandt versus
No, I want
Peter
to see
Yan?
it. I want to see it. But if you're saying you want to build up Cody Garbrandt,
Yeah,
I think of bantamweight Peter Yan, who's been in the division for a long time, who is well established in the division, is a
yeah,
worse matchup than a person that's still trying to figure his way out in the bantamweight division.
yeah. That's also true. Right away. No. I mean, I'm not talking about right away. I'm talking like in general. I'm talking
So,
about fights in general. I want that fight
yeah.
because I think Peter Yan is an amazing. Like he can finish you submission. He can finish you by hands. He can finish you like knock you out. But Cody is that good. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. Let me ask you this: Peter Yan, where's he go from here? He beats Uriah Faber by front kick KO. I'm a Uriah Faber. I like Uriah Faber. This is not what I wanted to see him at in his career. But what do you see Peter Yan going from here?
Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I think he should just fight for the title, or if he fights Aljamain for the number one contender. But then it's also like, it's like how many fights is he gonna have before he gets the title belt? Fine, but then like also fighting your Faber really wasn't like destroying Faber is good for your resume, sure, but like Faber's also coming off retirement. Like this is not gonna put you to that next level. It definitely solidifies you, but it doesn't put you at that next level. Like wow, like he just beat the former champ. It's like, no, you beat someone who kind of retired and is still a great fighter because he's able to beat a lot of people still. But this was probably never going to end any other way.
And he's ranked number 12. So like, I don't see how you jump from title fight from fighting a number 12 guy, right?
Peter Yan's ranked number 12?
No, Faber. He beat Faber.
Oh, okay.
Number 12. So I don't see how that elevates you to a title fight. What I would like to see is Corey Sandhagen versus Peter Yan. I think that's a good fight. I think Corey Sandhagen needs a new opponent. Peter Yan got out of that fight pretty unscathed. I think that's a good fight to make for a potential number one contender.
No, they're not going to skip Aljo, unless Aljo gets matched up with Aldo at this point.
No. My thinking is if Aljo is a rightful contender against Cejudo, take away Aldo out of the equation. If Aljo, who's the number one contender, fights Cejudo, which is a perfect world, Peter Yan should fight Corey Sandhagen. Because Corey Sandhagen needs an opponent, Peter Yan now needs an opponent. He just got out fresh with this Faber fight. I think that is a good number one contender fight to see who fights the title next.
What I would propose actually is a different route. I would think that UFC, whenever Aljamain is ready to go again, Aljamain would probably fight Peter Yan because those are the two guys who have the most win streaks right now in terms of bantamweight wins. Those guys are both on, I think, like three, four fight win streaks. Within their division. So like that realistically makes more sense than you putting Peter Yan against Sandhagen. Because granted, if Sandhagen beat Peter Yan, give him the belt. Like that's just it. Give him the belt. But I also think that if you do that, you still leave Aljo out. And then the argument could be made for Aljo, maybe you give him Marias again.
No, I said Aljo's the number one contender.
Oh,
I say Aljo's the number one contender, right? Because Cejudo beat Mariah, so that fight can't happen anytime soon.
No, that's not gonna happen. The issue. Oh, okay, then that's fine. And then Peter Yan is what, number 3?
Peter Yan's ranked number 4, and Corey Sandhagen's ranked number 3. So that fight.
Yeah. So if I'm thinking, I thought this whole time Peter Yan was number 3. That's why I was like, all right, let's decide.
No, Corey Sandhagen's ranked number 3. Peter Yan's ranked number 4, and then Rafael Assunção's ranked number 5.
Yeah, give Aljo the belt, man. Have him fight for the title like that. Now we're just prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah, and that moves the division along instead of doing the Aldo fight, which I think they're gonna do regardless of that. What we're saying.
Yeah, he said regardless of the fact, but
regardless of what we're saying, they're gonna give Aldo that fight somehow, some way. And Uriah Faber, if he wants to continue, I think honestly maybe fight Jimmy Rivera. Fight Pedro Munoz.
He lost to Jimmy Rivera, remember?
He did? You're right. Oh, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Remember, you the one that told me about this. I was like, Jimmy Rivera is dangerous. I didn't watch that card. You said, yo, he beat Uriah.
Yeah.
No, I did watch that card, actually. He beat him with the member. That was the introduction of Jimmy Rivera with the low calf kick.
You're right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm trying to figure out a way for Uriah Faber if he wants to continue, but I think
he should probably stop.
I just don't see it.
I think he should stop. Go. I'm not saying stop because like he's getting thrashed, but like you have no point of fighting at this point. Like we know you can fight. That's not the issue. But like, what's the point? Like Go enjoy life. You have a beautiful daughter. You have a beautiful wife. You're the head of a phenomenal team. I
Right.
mean, they need you now more than ever, because now we're starting to get we're gonna the bantamweight and flyweight and featherweight are gonna start moving soon. They're gonna be moving soon, and they need people like Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett is someone people do not talk about. Watch
Yep.
it at 145. He's a possible title contender. Then you have a couple of guys. You have Cody coming back. Like you have a lot going on. So like I don't think Faber needs to fight anymore. Honestly, I don't. I don't think so. But
That's fair. I was just thinking of maybe if he wants to fight, maybe Pedro Munoz, maybe Jimmy Rivera. But I'm on board with you. I don't want to see Uriah Faber fight again because it's not really left for him to do.
No, truly not.
But if he wants to fight again, maybe a Jimmy Rivera rematch, maybe Pedro Munoz. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
Jeff Neal going to the prelim. Jeff Neal beats Mike Perry by KO. I called this from the moment the fight was announced. I had Jeff Neal winning by knockout. He hits Perry with the head kick that stuns him, and then the clean right behind the ear finishes Perry against the cage.
I'll be honest with you. I was doing something and I turned around and I saw this unfolding and I was like, damn. Yep. Just damn. There's nothing much to say, honestly. Jeff Neal's a fucking beast. That head kick, his head kicks are out of this world.
He was composed. He was accurate. I love Jeff Neal. I think in this fight card, he's one of those rising stars that you got to look out for in 2020.
Agreed.
Jeff Neal right now is ranked number 14. I would love to see him against maybe ranked number 13, Vicente Luque, maybe Gilbert Burns, who's looking for a fight.
Ooh. I would say either of those guys are great. They come from the same camp, so if you beat one, you're probably going to fight the other eventually.
Yeah. But
that's a very good fight.
I like those two fights for Jeff Neal. Arena Aldana beats Ketlen Vieira, performance of the night winner. Ketlen Vieira hurt her a couple of times. Arena Aldana in the fight.
You saw the power difference, but then you saw the heart. Again, that's the thing about this card. Heart. A lot of people who just had heart. They're good fighters, but it was like, nah, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And then boom, she did it. I was very impressed.
The moment of the ending of this fight is Ketlen Vieira. For some reason, I don't understand. I think she misjudged what Arena Aldana was trying to do, and she just let her guard. She had her right hand covering just in case of the hook, but then Arena Aldana did a shift in movement, and she relaxed. She dropped her hand down and tried to just counter with a lazy left hook at that.
No. I wouldn't call that. That was planned. Let me tell you why. You why that wasn't a lazy hook. Because the way she threw it, I think it was a feint that made Ketlen Vieira, or it was some type of read that she made. It was the wrong read, right? And then what happened was it was a leaping left. It was leaping, so she threw power into that shot too. That's not a lazy shot. A lazy shot would be sometimes people will go like that, or it depends. That was an actual planned hook. And she was like, all right, boom. Made the adjustment, made the right read, and that's what sat her down. I wouldn't call it lazy.
No. I'm saying Ketlen Vieira.
Yes. Sorry, I think it's Aldana.
No, because when you see Ketlen Vieira, before she gets hit with that left hook, she
threw a hook of her own.
She threw a left hook, but she also tried to outstretch her hand, I guess, only to get some space between Arena Aldana because they were close apart.
It went like this. It went like a weird
she was trying
forward motion.
She was trying to pull her hand forward and try to throw the left, which dropped her right hand down, and Arena Aldana was able to come across with a jumping left hook. Was able to sit her down and win the fight.
Right, that's my fault. I thought you said Aldana had a lazy. I was like, whoa, that was beautifully timed.
No, that was a beautiful timed left hook. It's just Arena Ketlen Vieira just had this moment of just maybe not reading what was going on because she was winning the fight handily. She was winning the first round. But she dropped her right hand guarding the face, and then Arena Aldana does come up with that left hook, win the fight. I thought Arena Aldana was again another star performance for her. Which now does she fight for a title next? She's 12. She has more fights than the people are ranked ahead of her that's available.
True. I think she's one fight away. Honestly, I think she's one fight away.
Maybe her versus Aspen Ladd is the fight to make to see who the next contender is. Maybe. But yeah, I think she had a great performance. Moving on, Murray Akhmedov beat Ian Heinisch. I told you during this fight, it seems like Ian Heinisch doesn't really have a second game plan besides the one he comes in with. It seems like he wanted to grapple but that didn't work out. So then he's trying to figure out what he's trying to do in the fight.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think Ian Heinisch is good, but I see that being an issue. I think that's an issue when you get to the upper level people because Amar Akhmedov, his game plan was to retaliate. It wasn't to initiate the confrontation. It was just to retaliate. So whatever was thrown at him, he would counter that. And I think that's what was good about him because he has the power to do that, and that's how he would catch him. But there were brief moments in this fight when Heinisch was able to get him, but it just wasn't enough. Like there's sometimes you can clip people, but it's just not enough. Like you have to put something more together, and that's what we saw lacking in Ian Heinisch's overall game plan.
To go even a little bit further than that, in the third round, Ian Heinisch hurts
Amari.
Thank you. He hurts Amari in the third round. Instead of continuing with what he's doing, he decides to go for a double leg.
Yeah.
Which totally defeats the purpose of what you're doing. You have the double leg is not working, and you continue trying to find it even though you have him hurt with stand up. It was very weird to see it. It just seems like Ian Heinisch doesn't have a second game plan other than what he comes in with.
Yeah, he has the skills of grappling, striking, but I think when it comes to things like that, like he just went for broke. Honestly, he should have went for broke because he was down. He was down in the judges' scorecard. So I don't know. Good fight though.
I thought it was a good fight. Ian Heinisch is ranked number 10. Amari is ranked number 14. Maybe you do Amari Akhmedov versus Uriah Hall, maybe Brad Tavares, but he's definitely.
I'd like to see the Brad Tavares fight.
He's definitely moving up in the middleweight division as well, so there's movement there. Moving on, Matt Brown beats Ben Saunders by KO round 2. Not really much to say here. Ben Saunders, I think, needs to stop.
Yeah.
I think he needs to stop. I think it's a lot of damage.
Matt Brown did what Matt Brown's known to do. Matt Brown is a truly a fucking Spartan.
Yeah, what I would like to see next from Matt Brown, maybe you do a Matt Brown versus Mickey Gall. That was supposed to be the Carlos Condit fight that, Carlos Condit got hurt.
Injured, so that's fine. I'd be okay with that.
Maybe do Brown versus Gall, or if you want to get crazy, you want to get a little wild, want to see something maybe even a main event, honestly.
You've intrigued my interest. Speak.
Mike Perry versus Matt Brown. Just have them two go at it. I think
pure chaos.
It's pure chaos. I think Matt Brown versus Mike Perry. That's a main event. That could easily be a main event.
That's just pure chaos.
I know.
It.
I know.
Tyrese, that's just pure chaos.
I know.
I love it.
I said you want to get a little crazy, right? Matt Brown versus Mike Perry. That could be a main event, honestly. And any ESPN Plus fight card that you want to do.
I agree.
Chase Hooper, featherweight debut in the UFC, 20 years old, beats Daniel Tamar in an impressive fashion by TKO from a mounted triangle with elbows. I thought Chase Hooper was, again, one of those star performing nights for him. His UFC debut, 20 years old, is scrawny. He looks like he could be any regular dude in the street and beat a tough Daniel Tamar.
And it's funny because he got caught. Chase Cooper got caught with an overhand right that honestly probably would have put him out. But then he hung tight. He faced a lot of adversity. He hung tight. Secured the not the takedown, but the back, and then was able to work. So I was impressed. But he's gonna have kills are 145. He's gonna have to readjust. It's gonna be some. It's got to be some evolution, and he's young enough to do it. So,
my reservations with this is great performance. I want to see more from this kid. He seems like he's somebody that could be a star. Somebody made a joke. He's like Sean O'Malley before weave, which is hilarious.
So he also said, you got to see his tweet to Ben Askren. He said, "Father, just because I don't choose wrestling," he said, "just because I don't choose wrestling doesn't mean you can't love me." Or he's like, he said, "Sorry, I chose jujitsu and you never came back." And then Ben was like, "Good job, my son. Good job."
I love that.
It's good. It was good. I thought that was funny.
He has personality. He wanted to get some M&Ms after the fight. This kid, if brought in correctly, could be a good featherweight. You just have to match him up right. You have to match him up right though.
Yeah, that's the issue. You gotta match him up right. You want to give him a challenge, but then you also don't want to put him with Not Aldo, sorry. You don't want to put him with Chan Sung Young right away. That's just
anybody.
You don't want to do that.
Anybody close to top 15.
Yeah, you want to get him going, to see how where he needs to grow and where he needs to really work on his game.
Agreed.
Because you can't do what he did to everybody. Like everyone's not going to allow that to happen, you know, especially at 145.
But I definitely want to see more of him. I definitely liked his style, and I definitely want to see what he brings next.
Yeah.
So, sir, I didn't see the early prelim. Brandon Moreno versus Kyle France.
Yo.
He beats him by this unanimous decision. What do you want to say about that fight?
Moreno has proved that he's grown from when he fought Sergio Pettis back in a couple years ago. I think the tail of the tape for Brandon Moreno was that you saw the aggression, you saw the striking, and the brother never got tired. I mean, he threw the left high kick, even though he's orthodox. He just followed it up: jab, cross, head kick, jab, head kick, cross, head kick, and it just was. What was interesting with Kara France is over time you saw the wear. At first, Kara France is the crisper, tagging him in and out, like getting the angles, and then you see Moreno. Something clicks in his head, and he just goes off. Then you see Moreno's face is looking red, but then you see Kara France start to bleed. You start to see him teeing off. You see Brandon Moreno's chasing him down. It was overall a good fight. Very strong performance from Moreno, and it shows his growth because he was an LFA champion once he left the UFC. Like leaves the UFC, becomes a champion, comes back, goes into a draw, then comes in this fight, proves that he can hang. So I'm impressed. I was impressed by his performance.
Not
to say Kara France, very good prospect, and not to say Kara France isn't great, but Brandon Moreno, hell of a job last night.
Jessica I beats Viviane Araujo by decision 29-28.
I didn't see that fight. That fight was the one I came in at the 1 minute at the end of the last round. But
I do want to
Jessica I.
Go ahead. I do want to mention this though, and this is maybe a lesson.
I don't really have anything to say about that fight because I didn't really see it.
No, but just the result itself, right? So Jessica I misses weight by 5 pounds. She gives up 30% of her purse, right? So she's getting 48,000 to show, 48,000 to win, right? So she gives up 30% of her purse. So she's giving Viviane $14,400, right? Doing the math. She wins by decision, 5 pounds overweight. So she not only makes more because she gets whatever's left over from that 14,000 that she gave to Viviane, but she also gets the win bonus, so she gets the 48,000. So guess what this guy leaves out with? This guy leaves out with $81,600 total. Viviane takes home $59,400. That's including the bonus from Jessica I. So not only did Viviane lose the fight, lose against a person that was overweight, lose against a person with a clear disadvantage, she also made less money.
Well, again, this comes into the contract. Jessica I is a little bit towards the veteran side of it. She's had some years in UFC, and the structure of pay is that it goes for fighters who aren't like the super big fighters or like have the big marketable names like that, but like are still been in the UFC for a certain amount of time. They like have a certain amount of time. They have a certain amount of money accumulated for a certain amount of time in UFC. So I think that's where that pay gap is. Yeah. But damn, to bank 81 and you showed up and didn't make that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well,
that's a lot of money.
It's messed up, right? Because this should be a lesson for fighters in the future. I'm having second thoughts if the person I fought against missed weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they miss weight and now I'm gonna fight them and now I miss out on the win bonus.
Yeah.
It's something you gotta think about. Because it didn't pay off. Because Jessica I beats you, and then she takes on more money.
But the reason why she's making more money, I think I don't know if this would be such thing as if you would want to increase how much people could make after someone misses weight, like the opponent, or this is a contractual issue. It just happens to be an example of like how someone who's been in the UFC longer will make more money than you in general. It's really what this is showing.
Yeah, I mean that has to be. Maybe because this is only going to encourage people to hey, I can miss weight and I can still make more money by winning, right? So I would love to see just take from this maybe some type of rule change to where it's more than 30%, make it 50%. If you're going to miss weight by 5 pounds and have a disadvantage over your opponent, it should at least what I mean? Because she ended up winning out in the end.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know, you want not tighter, but like to make sure this doesn't incur wrath again. Like we want to make sure it's fair for everybody.
Exactly, and that's my only takeaway from this fight. This guy wins this fight, but yeah, just the fact that she took home 81,000.
Shout out to you, Jessica. That's a lot of money.
After missing weight is incredible.
Shout out to you. Money is money.
And Punahele Serrano beat Oscar Pichota by knockout in the first round. You see this fight?
Yeah, I saw the highlight. It was rough. That was hard to watch. He got him. You saw his eyes roll in the slow motion. I was like, whoa. Another
Contender Series fighter. Fought in LFA, fought in the PFL, fought in Titan FC. He's 27 years old. Middleweight, trains at Extreme Couture.
Yep.
Bright upside.
Yeah.
Well, Elijah, anything else you want to say about this card? I thought overall, could have maybe one or two fights could have been cut off this card, but overall, I thought it was a good card.
I think the amount of fights is fine. Again, I don't think we can do this more than one time a year. Or if we do, it has to be at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, because it is tiring. It is tiring to go through all these fights. But it was solid fights nonetheless. I'm impressed with what happened. Tyron Woodley should be looking now because he has to come back and get his belt. I don't think it's going to happen because Kamaru doesn't look like he's going to be stopped anytime soon. But I'm excited for what this would mean for Kamaru, what it means for Woodley, what this really means for Colby. This is a big opportunity, and then what it means for Leon Edwards. I know everyone's not talking about him, but no one wants to fight the brother, and that's my take on this. And Holloway's going to be back. He's going to be better. And then when he wins, and I have you over, I'll be a happier man.
Yeah, my takeaway from this card, Usman proved that he is legit one of the best welterweights in the world on the planet. In any organization, he's one of the best, if not the best.
I think he's the best welterweight in the world right now. I told my brother that confidently. I'm very confident in saying, like we talked about this with Izzy. Izzy may not be the GOAT, but Izzy at this moment, if he beats Yoel Romero, he is without a doubt the greatest middleweight on earth. He's without a doubt.
The Amanda Nunes 2020 is going to be interesting to see where she goes from here. As somebody that pretty much done it all in the women's division, it's interesting to see where she goes from here. Max Holloway, that fight for Volkanovski is going to be big in 2020. It's doing it in Australia. Yep. And the last thing I want to say on speaking of this card, it seems like Conor McGregor pretty much dictates what happens next in the welterweight division. Because if Conor McGregor beats Cowboy at 170, now you have a potential Jorge Masvidal versus Conor McGregor fight, which, who knows, even sets up a Conor McGregor versus Kamaru Usman fight, if that was to even be a thing. Who knows?
That's not going to happen.
Who knows?
That's not. That's
knows?
option C. But I will say this, Tyrese, I think you are on the money when you say Conor. It's not Conor willingly saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm doing that," but it's the mysticism of Mystic Mac. It is what he brings to the table that can change. Like you said, you fight me and your life has changed forever.
I just think that Conor McGregor, he has options, right? So if he has a great showing against Cowboy, if he has a great showing against Masvidal, if he was to beat Masvidal too, who's to say he doesn't have options at 170? We don't know. We don't know.
I don't see him fighting for the belt at 170, but I definitely see him getting a fight or two in at 170. I could say that. I don't see him fighting for the belt, but again, you never know. You never know. MMA math don't make sense. That's the first thing we know.
But the final UFC pay-per-view in 2019, I think, for what it's worth, thought it was pretty good. Let's next week we have Chan Sung Jung versus Frankie Edgar, which I think we'll be covering as well next week.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll try to set that up. Same time, 11 o'clock next Sunday. Any final words? Any final words?
Solid performance. I think this was a great card to end the year. Again, not the best card of the year, but that's okay. You take what you're given, you keep it moving. Kamaru, he's that good. Colby, better than I thought. Max is going to be great. Volkanovski is that man right now. Amanda, the GOAT. Truly the GOAT. There's no one I think is better than Amanda at this point. And when it comes to it, I think this is a great fight for 2020 is looking bright. 2020 is looking bright. I will say that. We got a lot of prospects, and I like that about UFC. So that's it.
All right. And for listeners watching in the future or going to watch this back, we create content like this almost every Sunday, covering UFC events. Click that bell, subscribe. You'll never know when we'll pop up and do a show like this. And if you like hearing content like this, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. And let's maybe want to be a part of the show. We'd love to have you on.
Tell us what you think.
But I hope you have a nice Sunday. Elijah, I wish you good luck on your finals that's coming up. All the best to you. Signing off, my name is Tyree Simon.
Les Jones.
And this is an MMA Renegade, episode 11. Have a good Sunday,
Episode 11. Later.